Today, we're going to dive into a powerful concept that can completely change the way you attract women, especially if you're already in your 30s or 40s. The truth is, the magnetism of older men has nothing to do with a bank balance, perfect looks, or those canned pickup lines you see all over the internet. The secret lies in two short phrases that connect directly with the female subconscious, creating emotional connection points that most men don't even realize exist. Stay with me until the end because I'm going to reveal exactly what those phrases are and explain the science behind them, plus a subtle detail that separates forgettable men from the ones they just can't get out of their heads. The first opening phrase is I want. It seems almost too simple, doesn't it? But look at what happens in a woman's brain when a man uses this phrase with clarity and confidence. The first thing she notices is that you're taking responsibility for your desires. You aren't asking for permission, and you aren't testing the waters to see if she approves. You're direct. Here's the interesting bit of female psychology. Women are instinctively attracted to men who know exactly what they want. This happens because in evolutionary psychology, clarity of intent is a biological indicator of leadership and the ability to protect. You know what almost nobody realizes. When you say something like, I don't know, maybe we could do something later if you want, you're communicating insecurity and a fear of rejection. You're dumping the weight of the decision onto her shoulders. Now, compare that to the phrase, I want to take you to dinner on Saturday. I know an incredible spot. Do you feel the difference? In the second example, you aren't begging for attention. You're leading an experience. You aren't being aggressive. You're being assertive. By saying, I want, you trigger sexual polarity, positioning yourself as the masculine force taking. The initiative, which naturally awakens her feminine side that desires to be guided by someone reliable. If this is already making sense to you, hit that like button right now. It helps the channel keep bringing this kind of exclusive applied psychology content. The second powerful phrase is I appreciate you or I value that. Now pay close attention because this is where the real magic happens and where so many men fail. If you only use the phrase I want, you might come off as egocentric or too dominant. But when you combine your desire with gratitude or validation, you create the perfect balance. You show initiative, but at the same time, you reveal a rare emotional depth. Imagine this scene. Instead of just saying, I want to see you again, you say, I want to see you again because I really value the way you think. Do you see what just happened? You aren't just expressing a physical or superficial desire. You're showing that you see her as an individual. You see her as an individual. Most men make the mistake of only complimenting physical appearance. But when you use I appreciate you or I value focused on her essence, you become unforgettable. Her subconscious registers that you're a man secure enough to recognize someone else's value without feeling diminished by it. This creates what we call positive emotional anchoring. She starts to associate your presence with a feeling of being seen and understood on a deep level. And if you want to stop winging it, avoid ghosting and know exactly what to say in every situation in my guide, Seduction and Power Messages. I show you over 150 ready-to-house messages, opening lines for apps, flirting questions, frame control techniques, and the step-by-step to take the conversation from the chat to the date without looking desperate. It's a practical shortcut for anyone who wants to master communication with an edge and stop wasting time on the subtle detail I mentioned at the start. Congruence. Conversations that lead nowhere. Here's the subtle detail I mentioned at the start. Congruence. It's no use using these phrases if your body is telling a different story. If you say, I want, but look away, slouch your shoulders, or speak with a shaky voice, the female brain, which is a highly calibrated emotional lie detector, is going to pick up on the inconsistency. For these phrases to work, you need presence. When you say, I want, maintain eye contact. When you say, I appreciate you, slow down your speech and let your sincerity shine through. Your energy must be the foundation of your words. Another fundamental factor is timing. You aren't going to repeat these like a robot in every sentence because that would sound artificial and manipulative. The secret of influential men is using these tools at strategic moments, especially when they want to set a clear intention or seal a moment of connection. For example, at the end of a great date, enough to create an emotional memory. looking into her eyes and saying, I want to do this again. I really value the energy you bring is enough to create an emotional memory that will echo in her mind for days. If you want to keep learning more about female psychology, attraction dynamics, and high masculine communication, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. The big lesson here is that women aren't looking for perfect men. They're looking for real, present men who have the courage to be honest about what they feel and what they want. Older men who master these two short phrases show they have the emotional maturity to lead and the sensitivity to appreciate. That's what defines a high value man. Now you have an advantage that the vast majority of men completely ignore. Use this knowledge with integrity and watch how the quality of your interactions changes drastically. Stay authentic, stay in control, and above all, never stop evolving your mind.